What's up, everyone? John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo here with a head-to-head comparison of the old versus the new. We've got the former top-of-the-line BlackBerry, the bold 9780, against the new king in town, the 9900. We're going to put these two head-to-head and see what the differences really are. So with very little doubt, the 9900 is a superior phone from almost all standpoints to 9780. But the big question is, how much better is it? And is that difference going to be worth an upgrade for you? Is it going to be worth you wanting to buy a new one, or perhaps getting a great deal on a discounted 9780? Let's go ahead and put all these guys through the tests and see how things come out. And just to sort of keep things fair, we're going to do a complete reboot of both devices. So we're starting from at least a fair comparison purposes. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the battery on that. I'll pull the battery here as well. And we're going to go ahead and run through the specs of both of these as they start to boot up. And then I'll probably have to speed it up because this guy takes quite a while to boot up. So battery's pulled here on the 9900. It's been pulled. Pop that back in. And I want to do this on camera so you guys can see that we are running at least as fair comparisons as we can do here. All right, so I'll let these guys boot up. Let's go ahead and run through all the specs on both of these. So this is the bold 9780. This is an unlocked version, which is using AT&T's 3G networks. It's running OS 6 as compared to the 9900 running BlackBerry OS 7. More on that later. 2.44-inch non-capacitive, non-touchscreen at all, versus a larger 2.8-inch, and this is a touchscreen. Resolution here was a bit low on the 480 by 360, and if you looked at images or text, you certainly noticed it. Higher resolution here, 640 by 480. From a weight standpoint, 122 grams, and a little bit heavier, but not much, at 130 grams. A bit of an anemic 624 megahertz processor here, and a much faster, borderline modern processor, 1.2 gigahertz, 512 megabytes of RAM, 768 megabytes of RAM. They both rock 5 megapixel cameras. Oh, this guy can shoot 720p video, but does not have autofocus, unfortunately. They tried to keep the thinness down, so that autofocus sensor got axed. 512 megabytes of storage and 8 gigs of storage. So there's a lot of differences here in the specs. I wanted to sort of show you and tell you at least what those were. So while these guys are booting up, I will come right back. Alright, so our full boot ups are completely done. I've used both of these phones as my daily driver. I used the 9780 for about 2 months, and the 9900 I've had for just about 2 weeks since it first came out. If you want to see my review of the 9900, a link for that will be down below. So we're going to talk about size, keyboard, navigation, speed, feel, OS, and some button business. Let's first talk about the size, because this is a pretty big BlackBerry. Harkens back to the old 9000, the original Bolds. You can clearly see that this is a much larger phone. And you feel that difference when it's in your pocket. You can see that screen size right there when they're stacked up on top of each other. Do it a little more level. There you go. And now you can see that it is definitely a larger phone. Certainly the thinnest BlackBerry though around, so it does make up for it in that department. But if you're going to keep this in your pocket and you're wearing some skinny jeans, you're definitely going to know that it is in there. Alright, so let's talk about the big thing here. What makes a BlackBerry Bold, and what BlackBerry is really known for, and that is this keyboard. So the keyboard on 9780 was a pretty solid keyboard. It worked well. Keys were a bit small. I've got pretty decent sized thumbs and I was able to get used to it pretty quickly. In fact, I thought this was one of the better, certainly not the best, but a very decent usable keyboard. Now if we jump on over to the larger keys here on the 9900, about 6% bigger, and boy do you feel that 6%. This keyboard is absolutely amazing. It's hands down the best keyboard I have ever typed on. Easily besting the outstanding HTC Status and the T-Mobile Sidekick 4G. This keyboard is unbelievably easy to type on. The keys feel a bit different. They've got a bit more clickiness to them, something you have to really feel to try it for yourself. But the keyboard here, absolutely awesome. If you are a heavy emailer or texter, you are definitely going to want to try this phone. If you've gotten used to, let's say, an on-screen keyboard like an iPhone or one of the Android devices, this is going to be a really welcome experience. I got really used to the virtual keyboards. I was an iPhone user, and I got very quick at it. This, I am probably twice as fast and twice as accurate. Really an amazing typing experience. And once I started getting used to physical keyboards, I remembered why I liked them so much. So definitely a huge step up. If there's a reason alone to upgrade, difference in keyboards from this to this definitely takes that cake. All right, so let's talk about navigation. So you want to navigate the BlackBerry, or any BlackBerry prior really to this one, with the exception of the torch. You got to use this guy. You can navigate around, you can scroll, you can go through different panels, find what you want. Doing this, not going to do much for you, other than maybe dent your screen. Now you've got that same sort of navigation options. You can go ahead and navigate around, just as you could on the other phone. You can see all kinds of different stuff. There's things there, and you can swipe through different panels. However, now you can also do this, and you can tap things. And you can go back, and Flickster, yes, I'm sure. You can navigate with your finger. Hooray! Because it is a touchscreen. So it also means, like, things like websites, for example, you can pinch to zoom. We'll talk about that in just a minute. You don't have to navigate anymore with just your finger, which is pretty awesome. So let's take a look at media. We'll go ahead and look at pictures, for example. And let's take a look at some wallpapers. Let's look at that one. That's pretty. If you wanted to zoom in on the old wallpapers here, we go to media. We'll go ahead and do that same thing. Pictures. Let's go down to wallpapers. And find what looks similar. How about... Well, that one's close enough. You wanted to zoom in. You had to select it, and you keep zooming in. Here, if you want to zoom, you can just do that. And it's actually very, very smooth. The 1.2 gigahertz processor with the graphics acceleration really is quite nice. RIM is calling that liquid graphics, which is really code for our phone's not slow anymore. Things actually work. For anybody who ever used an older BlackBerry, when you tried to install an application, you constantly had that little ticking thing that went around, or just using the phone, you had that little ticking thing that went around and rendered the phone unusable until it was done thinking. I've very rarely seen that on this phone. Even when I'm downloading an application, surprise, surprise, I can still use the phone, just like you can on every other modern device. So hooray for RIM for throwing some pretty decent hardware now behind their operating system. So much faster experience overall. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about speed. We're going to talk about browser speed now. To do that, I'm going to do a clearing of cache and all that business. So we've got a apples to apples comparison. So I'll run down to options, scroll down here. We'll go ahead and clear cookies. We'll clear everything. Everything clear now. I want to do this again live on camera so you guys can see that there's no funny business going on. Nothing's being edited. I do have the mobile network turned off on both of these. This is my regular phone and didn't want it to ring or buzz. They're connected both to the same Wi-Fi network. So I'll do the same thing here. Scroll on over to browser. We'll go to options. Options. And we'll clear everything out here as well. Alright, clear cookies, because nobody likes cookies. Push content, and we will clear now. Delete. Cleared memory. Alright, so everything is now good to go. Let's go ahead and open up one of my favorite BlackBerry sites that I've been reading quite a bit. Let's go ahead and check out BlackBerry. I'll go ahead and load that up here. Even typing again on this keyboard after using the 9900 just feels weird. Just feels weird. See, I'm not even good at it anymore. Crackberry.com. Alright, and we'll do the same thing on this guy. Alright. So it should be much easier now to get these to go at the same time. Connected to the same Wi-Fi network. Everything's been cleared. No AT&T going on here. It's been turned off. It's on the same Wi-Fi. All right, so let's go ahead and load them up. And it's going to load the mobile version. So it showed up here first on the 9780. And is not yet shown up on the 9900. Still loading. There we go. And it loaded the same web page here. So you can scroll through on each. No checkerboard. Scroll through here. No checkerboard. Let's go ahead and look at some navigation. So here's the article, or there's an article. Here's an article. If you want to zoom in, you have to sort of tap it. And you can sometimes zoom in, or you have to hit the option and zoom in. You can do some keyboard shortcuts too. But that's the easiest way to zoom. Here, pinch and zooming. Works very well. Look at that. It's smooth and it's fluid. Hooray for that. All right, so now we've looked at crackberry.com. It's been loaded here for the first time. What if it was already stored in our memory? We'd already looked at it before. It's a site that we viewed quite a bit. Let's go ahead and refresh it and see what's going to happen. So we'll go ahead and hit enter and see if that speed is any different. I hit this one maybe a second before, just as a heads up. So almost identical here from the speed department. Let's go ahead and try loading a few more websites. Let's try my favorite sports site, ESPN. It's going to load the mobile versions of each of these. And again, never been loaded on either of these. Tap that, ESPN. ESPN, look at that, I already queues it up there. And we'll do ESPN here. ESP. Oops. It's hard to type than you'd think here. ESPN. That didn't launch it up here. .com. Alright, so we're going to go to the mobile versions of both of these. We'll go ahead and hit go. And hit go. And we are off doing some ESPN action. So a little bit quicker here on the 9900. Load times, generally I found the 9900 to be a little bit faster, but not by much. But once the page is loaded, you can really see the difference between the two here. The browser speed is supposedly about 40% faster on OS 6 and 100% faster than OS 5. So you got the same things here, pinch to zoom. It's very smooth and fluid, as Android's been or iOS has been. So really nice job here with the browser. So if you were a BlackBerry user and the browser was important to you, you're finally going to have something decent. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some apps. Let's open up, see what kind of download stuff I've got stored in here. Go ahead. I keep trying to scroll over with my finger. Not going to work. So let's open up some applications. Let's say I want to open up, I don't know, what's similar? Let's go ahead and try Google Maps. Oh, it's not going to load up, probably. At least you can get a sense of speed. So I'll do Google Maps here, and open. Well, not connected. Not probably the best test. Suffice to say, though, this is actually much faster. Whether or not you're launching menus or moving around applications here, you have several things open at once. You really notice the speed of the extra RAM. I really enjoy the 9900. You don't notice that things are slowing down, whereas on an older BlackBerry device, you're very cognizant of things you could and could not do. And anybody who used an older BlackBerry device, you had to sort of live within its limitations. Not so much anymore. You can actually use your phone like a normal phone. So hooray for that. All right, let's talk about the feel of both of these phones. It seems like a weird thing to talk about, the feel of the phone, but it's very important here with these two. All plastic here on the 9780. We got sort of that aluminum or aluminium, depending on where you are, feel and look to it. Plasticky, you can hear it's already got some creaks to it. It has a nice quality build, but it feels a little bit cheap because of all the plastic. Here with that metal accents, that sort of woven glass back, soft touch on the sides, this phone feels really solid in the hand, and it feels really great to hold and to use. This one felt cheap, certainly the thinner side, but it wasn't awful. It had a bit of a hollow feel to it. There's a bit of room here between the battery door and where the battery actually is. Not so much here, so it has a much more solid feel to it. I like the way this feels in the hand. It definitely feels a bit more solid. Speaking of having the phone in the hand, speaker quality is absolutely outstanding here on the 9900. On the 9780, I had to have the volume turned all the way up to have sort of ample volume while making a phone call. Here, about 60% is perfect for me. So speaker volume is really loud on the 9900. All right, so we'll talk a bit about OS. I'm not going to get too much in detail about OS 7 because I've covered it sort of to death, but there are differences here. So you can scroll around through all your panels, and now you can get rid of panels. So I only have media, all, and downloads. Here you can't really do that, so I got downloads, frequent, all, favorites, and then media. So a little bit of a tweak. I've got a voice search here now, so I can search for voice. Didn't have that here. And overall, some niceties beneath the surface here with OS 7. You've got that liquid graphics, which is code again for our phone's not slow. One of the things I don't like, and this is sort of kind of nitpicky, if I want to scroll from screen to screen, it sort of locks right there. See that if I don't go all the way, it sort of snaps back. I know it's because I'm not going all that far, but I wish if it knew I was moving there that it would just continue to scroll through screens. But stuff is very smooth here. The liquid graphics do work very nicely. So strange to sort of talk about, all of that, how it feels with your finger. It's certainly going to be subjective. But from my standpoint, it really makes all the difference. One of my complaints I had with the 9780 was at the top of the phone here. This is how you unlocked or locked the phone. You pulled it out of your pocket. Sometimes if you put it down, face down into your jeans or whatever you're wearing, you'd hit this button. And suddenly you realize that your pants felt very hot because your phone had been on for a few hours and your battery was getting drained. It was just very easy to hit. On to the other side of that, so on the right was the mute button. on the top of the 9900, that's been fixed. You now have a almost recessed power button, which if anything is a bit hard to hit. You're not going to hit it by accident. You definitely got to let people know that you want to hit that. And that mute button has been moved to the middle of the volume rocker, which is a bit odd when you have the phone up to the side of your head and you want to adjust the volume. Generally, you think of just having two buttons. You have to sort of train yourself to think there's up, down, and then one in the middle. So a little something to keep in mind. Overall, I have been absolutely ecstatic and thrilled with the 9900. The phone is quick, it's fast, it handles email with awesome alacrity. It just does a really, really nice job of everything I've thrown at it here. Apps, certainly aren't as many apps as other ecosystems. And that's certainly one of the knocks on RIM and BlackBerry as a whole, is once you use the phone, it's pretty solid. But the ecosystem of getting stuff onto it and transferring information can certainly be less, let's just say, eloquent, which is sort of a bad word to use. Elegant. Elegant's what I'm thinking of. Less elegant than other ecosystems. But I love the 9900. It's going to be my daily driver for the foreseeable future. I wish it had better battery life. We have about a 1200 or so milliamp hour battery here and about a 1500 milliamp hour battery here. And you have to be very judicious with your battery on the 9900. So I have to turn my brightness all the way down to about 50%. I usually am a high brightness kind of guy. And if I'm near an outlet, I've got to plug it in for about an hour or so. So battery life, certainly not outstanding. So this has been a comparison head-to-head, if you will, of the 9780 versus 9900. And in my humble reviewing opinion, it is an extremely worthy upgrade. It just can't tell you how much this experience as a whole has been improved. From little things like the glowing trackpad to the awesome keyboard and the feel of the OS, 9900 finally is a BlackBerry that BlackBerry users deserve. I'm John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.